Now, service riders, that's what they should do, right, is get that information. But how many times you see them? You walk in there and there's 2 or 3 people, and when they get to you, all they're thinking about is taking care of the guy behind you. You walk in and say, okay, my check engine light's on. It's okay, check engine light. Got you, buddy, next. Wait a minute. Me, the guy working on your truck, I need more information than that. When did that light come on? When you first cranked it up in the morning? When you was pulling the hill? When you was going downhill? After the truck had been idling for a long time? Every bit of information I can get can make me more successful repairing your truck. There are a couple of things that if you ride up, don't leave. We need to go for a ride together. If you ride the truck up for a vibration or a noise, don't go nowhere. I can test drive your truck, but you know what? Every truck I get in vibrates, and every truck I get in has noises. You live in that truck. You know every sound it normally makes. When it starts doing something different, we need to go together so you can say, that's what I'm talking about. That's like a vibration? Yeah, I need to know. Is it tingling the floorboard? Can you feel it in the steering wheel? You know, is it in the gear shifter? You know, where am I looking for this vibration? Because they can be very hard to find. So we need to communicate. When I talk about those small dealers, and I pick on Waco all the time because they're just convenient thorn in my side, but there's a lot of them. Albuquerque, Amarillo, Wichita Falls, a lot of the small dealers, they really just don't have deep pockets to pay to get their technicians trained the way they should. Our technicians here, they have to go through several hundred hours of web-based training, then hands-on. I've got a class in Arlington, a classroom. We do hands-on training every week of the year. We'll take guys when something new comes out, we'll put them through training, whether it be air conditioning or a new product, new engine, new transmission, whatever it is, they're gonna get some hands-on training with it. And then we're gonna go back months later and bring that same group in for a refresher because nobody's gonna get everything the first time. So we always try to keep them up to date. The guys that are running our shops, we've got several shops, they're looking at their guys. If one of his guys is struggling on, let's say, electrical, which is a big challenge, then he gets to come back to the class again. He may come to that same electrical class 4 or 5 times until he gets a good understanding of how to troubleshoot those problems. The other thing is, we're human. There is a good possibility one of our guys is going to work on your truck and may not fix it correctly the first time. What we want is, we need to know that. And you will tell us. Well, the deal is, when we find out that the truck came through and whatever you had did not get repaired correctly, Jeff and I are going to talk to that technician. We're not going to beat him up. We're just wanting to talk to him and find out where he missed it and see, does he need more training? Is this a more complicated issue? We also want to make sure that whatever happens to you and your truck doesn't happen to somebody else. Trust me, we see it way too often. Something, say a check engine light, something brought a check engine light in your truck, it's happened before and it's going to happen again. We just need to be sure that we know to check those things that can cause it whenever it comes in. We're just trying to be more aggressive in our repairs. Now the other thing that I like about this shop, if you go to a dealership on Friday afternoon, say around 4 o'clock, what do they tell you?
It'll be maybe tomorrow before they can get a look at it.
On Friday?
On Friday, be Monday.
Yeah, it's gonna be Monday, at least. You do that here, they're gonna look at it Friday. We're 24/7. We're gonna have somebody here that can take care of it. So, it's a real challenge today to stay up with technology. We're doing a very good job of it.
Pops, they're gonna make you wait till Monday.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Most definitely. They might get started, they might know what they gotta do, but they say parts. We gotta get the parts, it's gotta come in overnight, everybody, blah, 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 blah. Because they...
If the air can't get out, it can't suck none in. So, it's gonna let it get up to 70%, and then the light comes on and tells you. You ever had a truck where it called for a regen? You did a parked regen and you took off, and a short while later it called for another regen?
Yeah,
you hear that?
Volvo.
For your regular. Here's what happens. This got up to 70%. You did a parked regen. Do you think that goes from 70 all the way down to 0 when it does a regen?
I don't know park.
No. It's going to go from 70 down somewhere around 50%. So now you're starting out half full. If you take off and now you're in one of those situations where you're stop and go or something like that, or you don't have any weight on it at all, that burn that you started, now the exhaust's gonna cool off. And it's gonna start filling back up with soot again. So that's why you'll see it where you're doing a regen, and then a short while later it's asking for another one. The perfect world, you do a parked regen, and then whenever you drive, you can get on the highway, start hitting some hills with a heavy load, and then you can take that 50%, burn it all the way down to 10% or less once we get the fire started. Just like when you're cooking with charcoal, when you light the charcoal, you immediately put the meat on there. No, you let the coals get started, don't you?
Let the coals on.
Yeah.
Cool down.
Well, same thing here. I do a parked regen. All I'm doing is lighting my grill. Now, once the coals start turning white and glowing, now they're hot. Okay, you start driving, but if we don't have any weight, we can't pull any hills, the exhaust starts cooling off. And now that burn process starts slowing down, and the coals go out. So that's why you may see where you would have a regen, do a regen, and then a short while later it would call for another one because it just didn't burn it off well enough. The trick too is if you're gonna do a regen, if it calls for a regen, you do a parked regen, when you drive, when you head out, drive more aggressively for a little while. Let the engine work, keep the RPM up. Let that charcoal grill you lit it go ahead and get started good. And then just go ahead and drive normal.
That's when they be talking about how the exhaust pipe turns, it gets real hot, it turns like on a dark night, you can see like an orange.
You can see it, yeah.
You see it burning that pipe is so hot, the exhaust pipe.
Oh, the air coming out of it is very, very hot.
Yeah.
Different applications we've seen. What they did, to be honest with you, they started making changes to the engine. They cleaned up the fuel. We added after treatment. They cleaned up the oil and made changes to the vehicle to meet 2010 emissions. All of this is bridge technology. It was just to get us here. Look at cars again for a minute. In the late 60s, they had good horsepower and they were good looking cars. Then all of a sudden they took a nosedive, didn't they? My dad was a car salesman in the 60s, and I remember back then, this was in 74, the new cars, you couldn't see them until the fair opened. They were all hidden. That way everybody wanted to go to the fair and see all the new cars. But he was telling about the 74 Mustang. He said it's going to be 6 inches shorter than the 65 Mustang. Well, at this time I'm driving the 71 Mach 1. Remember the 71 Mustang got pretty long? I'm thinking, man, all this horsepower in that little short car, that's going to be fun. Then I saw the 74 Mustang at the fair. Remember the Mustang 2? They should have called it a Pinto. It was not a Mustang. It was a joke. But that's what the EPA did. Had to kill all the horsepower. Cars today, is the horsepower back?
Sure.
No.
I mean,
I can show you a black Dodge right next door.
That black Dodge SRT.
Yeah.
But that car would go top end before the older car would. If you was to put that next to another car.
I don't know.
That didn't have, because they so high revving right now. From my understanding, from my cousin drives drag race. He said a new car you could put an old Mustang and get you one of them the fat body. Remember the Mustangs back in the 80s?
Yeah.
And put it up against a Mustang now, and the new Mustang to take off. There he go. He said, but that old Mustang, the fat big rear end, he said it'll catch it, it'll run right by it because it'll go top end before this older Mustang will. Because it's got.
I'll tell you, you need to go drive some of these cars. I've got a Corvette. My Corvette, 428 horsepower to the ground, out of the factory, off showroom floor. I ain't touched it. That's just what it puts out. That thing's quick. It's fun to drive. Great big wide tires, and it will light them up. But they're expensive.
Yeah,
Now, how much gas mileage do you think I got in that Corvette?
You ain't getting much.
28 miles a gallon.
How much?
28 miles a gallon average. Yeah. The horsepower's there, fuel economy's there. The other thing is when you open the hood of those cars back in the 70s and 80s, you see so many vacuum lines. It was so confusing, and the smog pump and everything else. Nowadays, those engines are cleaned up. There's not near as much crap in there as there used to be.
And they lighter anyway.
What the cars did, what the gasoline industry did, They met EPA, and then they looked and said they weren't happy with this product. What can we do to make this better? And they went to work on that. Now, we do have good horsepower now. We buy Ford pickups for our parts department. They're V6s, the EcoBoost V6. You need to drive one of those. You'll swear that's a high horsepower V8, that thing.
Just like that, that's like they're coming in the F-150s.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good running. James Edmondson got one. He's getting mid-20s hauling his boat. He's got a pontoon boat, big 24-foot pontoon boat. It's amazing the fuel miles we're getting and all the power we've got in today's technology. The other thing is, those cars in the 80s, everybody, catalytic converter stopping up, check engine light on all the time. Nowadays, when was the last time you heard of a late model car having a catalytic converter stopped up? Do they still have catalytic converters? Yep,
Yeah.
sure do. They don't stop up anymore. What about check engine lights? How often do you see that come on now?
On a new car,
Yeah.
you rarely see it come on.
New cars, rarely, barely, not very
And
often
if
at
it do
all.
come on, that means it need to be serviced.
Oh, it usually means the gas cap's loose.
Or that, or you didn't got the cap on right.
Yeah, but I mean, it's back in the 80s, everybody's check engine light was on. Kind of where we are on the trucks today. That's what we've done. The trucks, we met EPA. Now everybody's looking, what can we do better? What can we tweak? Everybody agrees these trucks are way too complicated. We got to simplify this. We got to figure out a better way of doing this. Everybody out there is trying to find a better way. Everything I've shown you is on every truck out there. One thing I mentioned earlier is DEF, diesel exhaust fluid. Some trucks will have diesel exhaust fluid. It is another catalyst that goes behind the DPF and another injector. And it sprays urea into that other catalyst to finish the cleanup process for the emissions. You know what the downside is of diesel exhaust fluid?
Right.
Who has to fill up the tank?
We do.
The driver does. What happens if that tank goes empty?
You got a problem.
The engine going to shut down.
It's gonna shut down on you.
Yeah. That's not good, is it?
Mm-mm.
Another thing is how much does that whole system weigh? That DEF system, about 600 pounds.
600
You add to the
pounds,
weight
that's
of a truck.
That's what I was telling them when we had that big the biggest Volvo
Uh-huh.
that they make.
Yeah.
He had that regen. I said, man, I can't even carry a decent load because I'm an aluminum, a refrigerated trailer. I got this unit back here
Yep.
keeping everything cold, and then I got this 600-something pound worth of regeneration. Then you got that air conditioning for the keep the truck over. They call it the APU unit.
Yeah.
Is on here, and man, I can't even.
Truck got so
I can't
heavy, you
even
can't
get
put nothing in the
can't
trailer.
hardly put that in the trailer.
Yep. So nobody wants that. Everybody's looking for a better way. International bought a company in Europe that basically they take, looks like a sponge brick, and they soak it in urea, and it goes in a spin-on canister, and it screws on to the DPF. If that technology works, you'll see everybody go to it. And then you wouldn't have any more tank, no more wires, no another counter. You save that 600 pounds. But they're still testing it. Everybody out there is looking for the next best thing. Somebody will figure it out. But right now, you know where we are in the diesel industry compared to gasoline? It's about 1988.
Still.
Yeah, we're there. We've met emissions, but the product isn't as good as we want it to be. And so you're going to see a lot of changes going forward, which will be good for us, but it's just that learning curve we got to get to. Types of regen, there's two, passive and active. Passive regen is a perfect of all worlds. You're going down the road, you're heavy loaded, you're hitting hills, you're maintaining good speed, that exhaust will get hot, burn that soot into ash, you will never know it. The only way you'll know it if you slow down under 5 miles an hour, a light comes on, it looks like a thermometer with wind blowing through it, that's the DPF hot light. It comes on just to warn you the exhaust is hot. Don't walk out there and lay your hand against it, it's going to burn you. Don't park over dead grass or newspaper, the exhaust is very hot. So that's what that light's for. You speed up over 5 miles an hour, the light goes back off. So it went into a regen, a rolling regen, and you didn't have to do anything. The other type is an active regen. That can happen one of two ways. One, you park the truck and put it in a parked regen. Or, let's say you're rolling along, you're not as heavy loaded, and you're not hitting as many hills, it's still building up soot, and the ECM is looking at the temperatures, and it's not hot enough to burn the soot into ash. What it will do is go ahead and activate that downstream injector and put the lighter fluid on charcoal.